recording and I've got
Do you know what I thought to
OCD.
myself? I thought, is she going
Is
to
she going to
say
do
it?
it?
Is she going to do it?
Is she that annoying and predictable? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Hello,
I
mate.
am. Hello, mate. How you doing? You look
Right.
the sexy slash tomboy slash 90s. And I think
I was going for 90s.
well,
I
I was
actually
going for
thought,
90s.
yes.
I've done
I
my
looked at you and
90s queer.
I thought we're on the same. We haven't talked, by the way, listener,
No.
viewer, about anything to do with what we're wearing. Sorry, I've got a load of fluff flying
Can
around.
you not tell every week that we don't
So,
plan
yeah,
anything?
90s.
Well, do you know why I've done it? Is because I was the biggest Take That fan in history. I went to
Oh my God.
Brussels, I went to Manchester, I went Portsmouth, I went everywhere. And the documentary's just come out, the Take That documentary. And my old school friends kind of tagged me in a post. And I just felt really 90s and nostalgic. And like,
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. I'm going to save it to the weekend. But I
Oh,
just
I watched the
loved
first
it.
episode last night, and
Don't
that
tell
is
me
why.
anything. Don't tell me
No, I'm
anything.
not. No, no
I was
spoilers here.
so in love with Mark Owen. It was unreal. And like when
Well,
you're that teen age, and I don't know whether teenagers have it now or will have it in the future quite the same, because it was kind of innocent. We didn't really know what our hormones were doing. It was more the feeling, like we didn't have the internet and phones and like all
no,
that
none of
kind of
that.
stuff to blur it. It was just like, and you didn't talk to your friends really about like sex, particularly. It was all silly conversations. So you just had this like hormonal surge and you felt like it was really innocent and lovely because it was like you felt in love with them. You didn't
Well,
realize it was hormones.
you're gonna feel like that all over again. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, right. I don't have any
Um,
hormones left, only fake
no,
ones.
what when you watch the
Oh,
documentary
when I
about
watched,
him,
I thought you
yeah,
meant in life.
no,
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 I'm no.
no. Just watching
No,
them,
you will never
going,
feel that
okay.
way again, Abby. No, you'll just feel bitterness and despair.
I want to start by thanking people who have contacted us this week because
Yeah.
it's been so great. It's been refreshing. There's been questions. There's been people who go, I don't agree with that. There's
Mm,
been people sort of stepping up that want to come on. There's been conversation, hasn't there?
mm. I mean, I love
And
people not agreeing because although I am a feisty nugget and I might come across as, you
I
know,
thought you were going to say chicken nugget. Chicken
I
nugget.
like fighting my corner, but the thing I love the most is when someone changes my mind. Like
Yeah,
I love that thing when somebody challenges you
yeah.
and you go, no, no, no. And then they go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you go, oh, hang on. Actually, I love that. So I love that people are saying their point of view. And I think we've talked about this before personally, but to anyone listening, you know, and to anyone listening to any podcast or anything online, you know, you have to understand that my opinions come from 46 years of backstory that you don't know.
Yeah,
And it's not a defense for anything that I say that people find offensive. It's not, but there is so much history for
yeah,
both of us. And I think,
absolutely.
if I come across as man-hating, misandrist, whatever you're called, like I'm genuinely not. I'm just in that place at the moment because of everything that's happened to me personally and because of my backstory that I am angry and I feel hard done by and I do feel a lot of things and I think I'm right to at this moment and I'm sure hopefully this podcast will go on. I'll be really interested to watch it back in retrospect and watch it back in a year's time, 2 years time, 3 years time,
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
I am then and see how I feel about what I said back then.
It's a sort of it's the documentation of like passing a time, isn't it?
Mm.
And like you said, I think I just want to underline to anyone that says actually I've listened to this and I think this and I don't think the same. That's why we're doing it because we
Yeah.
want to learn. We said right at the start, if you listen back to the first you know introduction, we were like, let's try and educate ourselves.
Mm.
Let's try and expand the mind. At the same time, um, selfishly getting to see each other in a way that's not work related in the sense of, but just getting a chance to hang out, and do what we would do anyway, but just, I don't know, be able to share that and learn more from other people who might be interested in listening in to our jibber jabber.
And also for me, not just meeting up with friends and talking about the things you always end up talking about, your kids, boys, like the state of your relationship. It does seem women talk loads, but often if I meet someone for a couple of hours, I feel like I don't get to the nitty gritty. I never get to that point with them. I
No.
think we were lucky that when we first met, we met at a time in our life when we were both at a similar brain point, but we met on a job where we would stay up all night and talk.
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't. We should have been work focused, but we were younger. But we
Yeah,
did
but
all those.
we could handle it. We were
We
like,
could
right.
handle it, yeah. And
Yeah.
and we did all those deep and meaningfuls quite early on. And I think sometimes in friendships, especially with other school mums I meet, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm never going to get to the nitty gritty of them because you just need that. You do need to stay up all night to get past that fluff that we all talk about that is on your
Agreed.
mind right now.
Agreed.
But I like this because we can sort of pick topics and other people have asked us questions, and it's not necessarily what we would talk about if we were
No, I
to meet up
agree.
for coffee. I love
I
that.
agree. And it makes you I can only, you know, I said a bit of it last week in a lot of waffle, but I can only be grateful for even starting this and doing this in the first place, because I think there's so much that you learn about yourself when you start talking about subjects and things that you would never ordinarily like touch on.
Mm.
um, in a sort of open forum. You've got people from all angles challenging you and or adding value. It's great. It's very good. On that note, because I'm
Yeah.
positive pants,
Yeah. Oh, fuck's sake.
I thought I'd start a regular feature and see what you had to fit.
Yeah, go on. I'm
see
really looking forward to it.
see what you felt about it.
Oh,
Anyway.
let me guess. Something really positive and chirpy and mystical.
Oh,
Is
do
it?
I detect a hint of cynicism in your voice? So I've got a set of cards, everyone.
Oh, cards. Cards for
And
humanity?
no, they're not that.
Ah.
It's a happiness box. And
That's what I need in my
it's
life.
the
A
happiness
happiness box.
box. It's basically positive quotes and affirmations that we can just see what the universe wants to tell us today and see how we feel about it. All right. Given a cut our day-to-day well-being and
Yay.
trying to feel better. Be interesting to see what you
Yay.
think. So I'm going to just pull a random card and we'll see how we feel about that statement. Ready?
Go on then, pull one out your box, love.
You're going to love this.
Oh, mhm.
Laughter is a sunbeam of the soul.
Burn it. I
How do
mean,
we feel about that laughter? I'm
the
going to put it,
sentiment,
see, I'm
listen,
also going to do this every week, put it on a
the
little.
sentiment with these things I agree with. I think I don't like the kind of sickly printed t-shirt way that it is put. Do you know what
Right.
I mean? I do think live, laugh, love. You know, I I do agree. Live, laugh, love. Yeah, why not? But I don't like that kind of
Do
thing because honestly, loads of people I go to their house and they have live, laugh, love or smile more or something, and I think
you
that's
want me
not
to get
you.
that done in neon for you?
No. Do you know what I was going to get in neon? It's our family motto
Oh
is
my God.
don't be a dick. So when I can afford it, I'm going to get it for my new house because it covers everything. Don't be a
Yeah.
dick. Any
Okay.
situation you're in, just think like, am I being a dick about this? Don't be a dick. Great cards of vomit. Sorry, cards of what are they called? Putrid cards of
It's the
happiness.
happiness box.
Why is your
Yeah.
box so happy?
Well, I don't know. Anyway, I thought it's interesting to get a reaction straight off from something
Yeah.
that just might open a conversation.
Sentiment, 100% yes. Laughter. It's why I went into theatre. And although on the my crusty outside, I am a real curmudgeon, I think
That's
that
a great word, by the way.
thanks, mate. I've been reading more. No, it's not. Do you know what it is? Having kids. Like I
Yeah.
feel so thick having three 9 year olds that I can't help them with their homework. I'm like, must read more. Um, I think that inside I am you on the inside. I am squidgy and soft and
Yeah, you are.
positive. And I think that I went into theatre partly for my dad, I think, and partly because I just bloody love seeing people happy. I bloody love it. I'm a real Christmas giver.
Yeah.
You know, I love watching people open presents. I love all that kind of crap. And I think laughter although I didn't get to do many comedies, I think laughter is just watching people laugh or even watching people cry, just watching people emote is just wonderful. And I'm a very emotional person. And I think singing brings such joy. It is akin to laughter.
Yeah, I agree. I think anything emotively creative and all of the stuff what you do is why you do it, isn't it? You're like, okay, I want to be surrounded by that sort of thing, laughter particularly. So although it says laughter is the sunbeam of the soul, I mean sometimes your soul can't emit laughter for the right
Yeah.
reasons, not all the time. Um, but it does hit you, and I think this, for example, when we get together, the sarcasm, the wit, the humor, it lifts you out of very difficult places as well.
I
So
mean,
I
we're
do
not that
think
funny.
there's something in it. There's something in it.
I do. And I also think, like, I remember going to the comedy store years ago and I just wanted to go my whole life because I was obsessed with Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Josie Lawrence and Richard Branch and
Love all those.
Colin Mockery
Love,
and
love,
all of
love.
those, Ryan, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Um, my menopause kicked in then. I was like,
Whose
you're on
line
a
is it
roll.
anyway
No,
was just
I
unbelievable.
just absolutely love them all. And I remember actually physically wetting myself.
Yeah.
And I was experiencing such joy, I kind of didn't care. Like a lot of pee came out in spurts because I was laughing so much, and I was like, "Ah, that's all good. I can clear it up." I was so happy, and it was so absolutely hilariously funny. Plus the fact that it was improvised,
Yeah.
just that joy. Like I
Yeah.
wish you could bottle it. And when you feel depressed and when you feel empty and alone, like just have a little, they'll invent it one day, won't they? Where you can just have a little injection of
Yeah.
joy.
Well, they've done everything else, so I don't think it's far off, to be honest with you.
It would just be nice, like to be able to have that bottled, to have that lovely laughter feel.
Well, and whilst we're on it, like coming back to your childhood and stuff, or even times we've had when we've been on tour, where you've laughed so hard you've cried
Mm,
because you can't. It's so funny and it's so in the moment. And I think that's the thing. I mean, I joke about let's be in the moment and be happy, but there is something in it. There is definitely something in it when all chaos is going on. And you've talked a bit about this week off podcast about having that piece of going, you know what, it could be an absolute shit show. But when you find that moment thing where you just go, right, well, that's funny, whether it's watching a Take That documentary or whatever, a stand
mm,
up comedy thing, or that you go, right at this moment, I'm not thinking about any of that. I'm
mm,
just having a really, really great moment
mm,
here. And
mm.
I think that's been a big shift for me between last year and this year of this, of like, even now, I'm thinking, oh, this is the feeling that you get sitting there. How do you feel sitting here now when you're doing this?
Warm because my fan heater's on. Slightly hungry, although I've had two breakfasts.
I mean, this is not what I was expecting you to say, but it's all good content.
I feel really happy that oh my god, I'm so sorry. I feel like this is the endometriosis fibromyalgia side that when I get ill, it just never seems to go, and it's rearing its ugly head again. So apologies, everyone, for my gross voice and coughing. I think that I'm really proud of us for making time because we're bad at that because we
We
don't
are,
have
yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and I think being busy is never an excuse. I think it takes 2 seconds to send a text to someone, it now that we've
Agree.
got voice messaging, all that kind of stuff, there's no excuse for not connecting. And I think for us being um givers, like being thoughtful, being empathetic, trying to live your life in a way where you want to connect with people and
Yeah,
be there for
absolutely
them,
that. Absolutely
you
that.
forget yourself in all of that because your priority is fixing your partner situation, fixing your kids situation, fixing your money situation. Like you're constantly on this journey. And I felt like, God, recently we've talked and I've realized so much. Like I've never been at the forefront. I've never been my most important person.
Yeah, yeah. And you kind of, once you are in a good way, not in a selfish way, not in a, I'm going to go and buy some spenny stuff or whatever.
Spenny? Is that a Scottish term?
No, apparently, I mean, I'm probably going
Oh,
to the
Are you
pieces on this.
being? Oh no, Linz, don't be all. No, is it modern? Is it not 90s? I don't want to know. Unless it's drag, I don't want to know. What does spenny mean? Oh, goodness me. You're cool. Yeah, you're cool. You're not in your 50s. You're spenny. What does it
Oh,
mean?
expensive.
Oh, right. You're spenny.
Oh
You're a
God.
spenny friend.
Instead of that, like when you're right with yourself without materialistic things is what I mean, and you do all the stuff that we do naturally,
Yeah.
that's when I think it's going to be great. It's joyful, is what I meant.
Dick. Am I going to have to like, oh, because my kids aren't old enough for me to bother. I've just got over 6, 7 said to me
Oh,
on
yeah,
repeat.
that's gone now.
Yeah, but it hasn't kind of it, not with a 9-year-old. It's kind of
No,
still there festering. I'm not going to be cool, Linz. I'm not going to be cool, listeners.
no,
Sorry,
okay,
I'm
that's all
not.
right.
Unless it comes from RuPaul's Drag Race, which I still don't feel cool saying it. And I stop myself sometimes because as much as I would love to have been born into drag, I'm unfortunately a fucking heterosexual woman. Blech. Um,
Can I just say, on the note of positive pants,
mm,
I was thinking about this. Just give me one small thing that made a difference to your week. Person,
no,
thing, event.
no.
Oh, oh. I
um,
sense resistance today. There's this.
I'm just grumpy pants. I'm just grumpy. I'm just grumpy today with grumpy with a smile.
But that's
Um,
okay. I mean, it's what people will turn up for.
I just feel very weighed down with the weight
Yeah,
of, paperwork, divorce, a million things, the cat being ill, having to cancel plans and do things that I didn't plan to do. Just grumpy. So I think this week
come on,
the
one thing.
unexpected things always make me happy. Like I was walking past yesterday, and one of the school mums just very quickly in passing was like, "Oh, what are you doing Thursday? Coffee?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, great." Things like that really bring me joy because it makes me feel. Sorry, I must stop swinging on my chair. I hate it when people do that. I'm gonna get a stationary chair. ADHD, ADHD. I love those moments that
Oh, I'm
make
sorry to everyone listening to that. No one needs that.
make me feel. I like moments that make me feel like people are thinking of me because I've lived for quite a while feeling invisible and trying to be seen and working quite hard at that and not getting anywhere and sort
Yeah.
of another moment, I can't remember which week it was. It might have been the beginning of this week, I can't
I
remember.
mean, this is good. It's rolling into a second one.
Oh, shut up. um don't mark me as positive. I'm not spenny. um
It's not Spenny. No,
my my
neither of us are
agent
Spenny.
my agent Fiona, who is also a friend, who is absolutely flipping incredible as a human. She is an
Yeah.
absolute force to reckon with. She is fit and healthy. Like I don't know how she exists. Like she's incredible, but she's also really thoughtful and really nice. And she sent me a message, just to sort of a personal message, like
Yeah.
which felt really personal. Sometimes you don't get that from your agent. It often comes in
Yeah.
email form. Just saying, you haven't been really seen for anything in musical theatre, trying to make a comeback, and I feel like this shouldn't be the case with your CV. And I just
Yeah.
want to, are you okay if I kind of flag this up? And I really appreciated that. She didn't have to do that. They don't have to do anything really.
No.
There's no contract that says how hard your agent has to work. But again, feeling like someone's thought of me,
Yeah.
a message is from you, just all sort of lovely little moments.
Are
If
they
you
all
don't
lovely little moments that I say though on messages? I
know,
don't think they are.
ours are just moans. Ours are just
Yesterday, I
long.
distinctly remember sending one that
I look and it's like
was
5 minutes 60. I'm like, okay, okay,
oh, she's
okay.
having a
I'll put
bad
aside
day.
some time. She's having a bad day. But I love that. I love that I'm that person that can kind of be there for you. What about you, Lindsay? What's your special smiley time in your sunbeam of your soul?
Um, I think like you, it's little things. But what surprised me most this week, well, not it didn't surprise me, it was just lovely. A couple of people I was working with on a show, I wasn't having the best time. There's a lot of um there's a bit of an anniversary happening this week, and there's some stuff happening,
And we can talk
and
about that or not talk about that. Like options open.
few
But
challenges this week, and
yes.
it wasn't affecting anything. I was still quite peaceful. I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy the day and the moment and the job. But people who are creative and empathetic and kind of understanding will pick up on if you're a little bit off, not off, but if you're quiet, for example, which I was, rather than being off.
Hmm.
And what I really loved this week was a couple of people that I work with regularly, quietly, without an audience, took time to come aside and say some really lovely positive things and make me laugh and just check in and just
Mm.
be like, I know that this you know might be dealing with a lot this week, but there's this and that, and made me laugh, and without putting too fine a detail into it, essentially a couple of people who didn't wait to be asked, didn't wait to be told, didn't wait for a forum that was public so it looked like you were
Yeah,
being,
yeah.
just knew you well enough and cared deeply enough that they took some time out to just have a little bit of a conversation that reaffirmed all of the things that we've just talked about how the connection between people that is genuine and authentic is all you need really in a
Mm.
day
Mm.
sometimes. Just a message or a thought or a conversation or someone making you laugh, or I had a bit of that this week during quite what show life's like. You get it's quite stressful, everybody's in their own bubble because they've got a
Mm.
lot to think about, and there's a lot of expectation on your individual performances. So to take time out of that to come and give some energy to me, I was quite pleased about that. That was my big difference this week, because then it took me into the next one and the next one. If you have 3 or 4 shows in a row, you kind of carry a bit of that with you when you're with the same people as well. So
Mm.
that's my little positive pants moment.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. I always call it like, what would Keanu Reeves do? Because I think he's a really good model of
I like him. I love him, by the way.
non-performative generosity. You know, he doesn't do things big. There's loads of charitable, gorgeous things he's done that he just doesn't. The non-performative, because we are from a theatrical world and everything is performative, and now with social media, very performative. I think you
Yeah,
really
I
appreciate
agree.
those moments where people aren't doing it for any reason other than you. They're not doing
No,
it for social media, for praise,
no,
for
I
money.
love that.
They're just taking you aside, and it's quiet and it's loving. And equally, I don't know how you feel, like sometimes on these gigs, I also love the fluff of it all. The kind of, you get there, there's a bit of banter. It's like, way, you have a laugh. Well, it is my end.
Is it
You
a football match?
Well, it is for
Oh,
me. You
oh,
sort of, you sing and you try and be like a light on the stage, and you try
yeah.
and have fun yourself, and even if you aren't having the best day, like I kind of love that fluffy element to it. Like it makes you be positive for a bit.
Yeah, and they're all the things that, because we're all, this is the love hate thing I have about social media, in the expectations of recording things in a way that everyone has to in order to sort of be relevant or stay relevant now as a
Mm.
performer. The bits that I love the most are the bits off camera. So you've got lots and lots of band members. They're now take a picture of their setup,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
theatre, the this all backstage. We all do it, backstage walk. This is it, because it's a window into the world that other people are interested in. If they don't do it, I get it. It's great.
Mm.
Also, lots of people have endorsements now whereby it's about showcasing the equipment you're using, all of that stuff. But all of the wholesomeness comes when the camera isn't running
Mm.
on those, in that setup situation. The one I talked about was not on camera. The things you're talking about when you set up, and the laughter and the nonsense, none of it is for media, and it's the most precious part of it. And it probably, I think it lends itself to something that I've wanted to discuss for some time, which is probably our topic for this week,
No.
if there's such a thing.
No.
Social media,
Ugh.
helpful, harmful, or just exhausting? Question.
All of the above. So I think I come from a really lucky place lately, that because I went through the adoption process, they really force you to not be on social media with your kids. So I don't post my kids on social media. And it's just something that was kind of hammered into me through that process. I feel quite lucky
Yeah.
because I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. We all do what we do. It's fine, each to their own. I just worry about putting your children on the internet.
Yeah.
And I think I'm very scared of other people. And I know what kind of gross people are out there.
Hmm.
And it's made me just not really do that. And it
Understandably, by the way, and
understandably,
also I think there'd be a lot of listeners that would agree with you and go, yeah, that's the route I've taken.
I also think it's no permission from them. Sometimes it's babies and
Yeah.
toddlers who can't give their permission, who maybe when they're in their 20s will be very angry that that's been put online.
Yeah.
Who knows? So with that, it's kind of steered me away from it a bit. Now, I do a bit, but I'm a bit rubbish at it. I forget. And I think it probably has harmed my current career. I went to get somebody said, oh, there's
That's so
you could get
interesting.
sort of not get endorsements, you're endorsing a brand.
Yeah.
And someone said, oh, Vocal Zone, you've always used sort of Vocal Zone. They look for people all the time. There's adverts everywhere. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I'll give them a little write. And I had a million things backwards and forwards. And they basically in the end came back saying, my Instagram, my social media presence isn't solely about singing. So I don't have a dedicated page just to performing, don't have enough followers, don't have a platform kind of thing, which I
Mm.
get, of course. But I did also think, my God, like I have 25 years of professional,
Yeah.
pretty good experience and a really good CV and a really good career. That don't mean dick because I don't have a social media presence. And it did make me wake up and be like, oh yeah, maybe that's why I'm not getting auditions because
But
nobody knows I
but
exist.
but how does in answer to the question, how does that then make you feel knowing that you had that feedback
Um,
about media and your not the kids, but
I
your
felt
presence?
really sad because I never ever wanted a career through nepotism. I
Right.
didn't want to get anything through anyone. I always wanted to know that the jobs I got because they thought I was good.
Yeah.
And I think it's very difficult for people at the moment because social media and who you are sometimes is a very good reason to maybe give stuff to people who aren't necessarily the best or most talented person from the job. So it may be sad, I think, rather than angry, sad that the world has
Yeah.
gone that way, that I
Yeah.
now can't just walk into an audition room, do my best, just be judged on that and a bit of my CV, of course,
They
and
do, yeah,
behavior.
they are looking at your handles and seeing what's going on. Because I think I feel the same as you. I think it's sad that I mean, the amount of time I'm having to refocus this year in terms of actually posting more and doing more and it being kind of not relentless, but persistent enough that it
Mhm,
retains a relevance on a visual platform enough that you're still visible, especially where I am in the industry, what I play, what I do, age, all of that related.
mhm.
Even more so, the pressure's on because if you slip under that radar, as you've just described, it will affect it will affect how you're seen because people automatically go to your feeds. What have you got? What are you doing? What you and so it brings me back to this love hate thing I have with it, whereby all the moments away from it for me are some of the wholesome bits and the bits that I go, gosh, if you could record this, it would be
Mm,
so lovely to share something, an authentic moment, because
mm.
then on film it's not authentic. It
I think
becomes then a more staged.
yes. And you have to view it in a way that you think the audience will like.
Mm,
You have to analyze yourself and you have to pick these moments, and they aren't always the best ones to you.
no,
And I
no.
think when I don't know if I've mentioned before, but I have ADHD. I don't know if you know listeners, and I have
Do you
three
know?
children, and I'm going through a divorce, and I have multiple illnesses. I don't know if anyone knows any of these things. I don't mention it much. Um, but all of those things, with a million other things, money worries, and
Yeah,
I don't have the time. I don't have the brain space to think, oh, I'm going to post this. Like I do it when I can, when I have a
yeah,
second to breathe, but I very rarely have a second to breathe. So I'm being I feel like I'm being penalized for my greater life choices. If I didn't have kids, if I wasn't married, if I'd been able to look after myself and my health, all those things, I probably would be in a slightly better position to afford the time to do some of these things. And I think it
Mm.
feels unfair. I'm not angry about it because I accept it. It's the way the world is. And some of it is positive, of course. It would be, I was saying to my friends with the take that thing, I was like, wouldn't it be lovely if we'd have had social media back then? Because I have nothing. I don't even have pictures really, because we didn't take pictures. We just lived in the moment. So
No,
wouldn't it be lovely to
absolutely.
have had social media and I could look back at clips of us when we were 15 and horny going to watch Take That? Like it would be joyous. So there is loads of positives. I just feel like because of everything I am, which none of it really I can help right now, I am being penalized because I don't have the money and the time to have this amazing social media presence. And it's the same with auditions. It's the same with self tapes. If you
Yep.
are stinking rich and you have whatever family support or and you can have this amazing setup. You could even hire a bloody videographer and a sound guy, to do
Yeah,
your
yeah,
self
yeah.
tapes.
It's
Or
true.
like me, you do it on a crappy old phone in the bathroom.
Mm.
You, of course, watching, they are getting a different version of you. I also don't have the time to tape it multiple times. I try and do self
Yeah.
tapes in one tape because I want them to have what they would have in the audition room, but they don't know that.
No, no, no. But I would say I do think and I only know this, and you talked about your agents, but I feel very lucky to have the agents that I've got and the
Yay.
perception of, I know, it's wholesome, of sticking around and being very real and authentic with you in an industry where you're panicked about all of those things and the cost attached
Mm.
for them to, who are still performing in the industry going, do you know what, actually, in our experience, the people we talk to that are all of the casting directors and everything else can kind of see through the fog
Yeah.
and still are saying to them, paraphernalia aside, they'll be able to see or not see
And I had the
what's
same
in front of
feedback.
them.
I said, do I need to be doing more? What can I do?
And
And
they
they
were
were
like,
like,
no,
no.
just on your phone, do this, do that,
But the problem is, it's not just our perception. We've seen it happen. We know for a fact people being cast in musical theatre and not being cast due to the amount of followers.
Yeah, there is that. There is that.
And also, there is an open dialogue for performers. I feel like still everything's like a secret. A lot of casting directors, a lot of, everything's a big secret from us. It's all a big game. And, you can't know whether you have the job or not. You
No,
can't know. We're not, we know things through social media. I know I've had it myself, but I know loads of people who found out their show is closing before the company have told them
yeah,
because it's
I've heard
linked to
horror
social media.
stories about that. I
And that
mean,
side of it, it's just it does matter, but we don't know what casting directors do because they don't always speak openly and we don't have any dialogue with them. We're not allowed to speak to them. They're like, the king. You have to speak to them through other people who decide whether you speak to them or not. Like even asking for feedback, it's such a weird subject.
yeah,
And having been on the side of casting, and yeah, it was bloody hard work and there was a lot. But when people asked for feedback, God, I gave it
yeah, yeah.
because I know what it's like.
I think inherently as a performer, you would always give people that grace and that because you know how it feels. Silence is deafening, isn't it? if
Mm,
you if you give your all to everything and put yourself on the line and go, this is me and it's enough. No amount, you come away and you leave it in the room and all the advice. I think it was Bryan Cranston that said, you go in, sorry, I'm quoting again. It's so
no,
boring
I'm
for
with you
you.
on this one. I think I've seen it and I
he
love Bryan
he
Cranston.
basically he said, you go in the room and it's about exciting in the moment, and
Yeah.
it's as much about the exchange as it is about, do I feel good about this, do I feel good about working with them, what are they like, what's their energy,
Mm,
all this great advice that he gave. I'm absolutely on the nail with that. And you go in and even on self tapes now, that's how I feel. I'm like,
yeah.
don't get in your head.
Mm,
Just do you. And if they see you and go, we quite like that, you're obviously going to get into another stage or further. There is still a little bit of us, however. I wish I had his superpower of doing that every time I did something,
mm,
where you will not always feel that way. You will go in and you will feel that you'll come out and not just leave it to the side and go on with your day and have a happy lark full day. There's a bit of you that's always like, I haven't heard anything. Or does that mean that I'm too old? I'm not right. Oh, they didn't like this. They didn't like that. Yeah. You kind of you go through all of that's what I say about the exhausting question in terms of the social media. It can generate this exhausting feeling in yourself that you're not enough when actually you just are.
And I'd love to know the psychology behind how I can perform in front of 20,000 people, don't feel any nerves, a little
Yeah.
bit of excitement, but no nerves. I, I do go to a panel of three and need to go for a poo 7,000 times
Yeah.
because
What
my
is
stomach
that?
is
What
absolute
is
knots.
that? I feel
Like,
exactly the
why am I so
same.
nervous? Because I know on paper, I started to feel long ago that actually, having been on both sides, when I go to an audition, I think, lucky you. Lucky you, you get to hear me sing. You get a free concert. You get to sit on your ass, drink coffee, and have a free concert from all these talented people. Lucky you, because I did feel lucky casting. It's a
Yeah.
great job. And I do have that in the forefront of my mind is I do actually feel very powerful. And I'm like, I'm great, lucky you. But when you go in, still feel like you're going to pee your pants because I'm just absolute an absolute wreck. And I wonder what that is.
Mm,
Because
yeah.
obviously you don't have the job yet and it's something you want rather than something you have. But I don't think people understand the intensity of the nerves you get in an audition.
Yeah. It unless you've I mean, there'll be lots of people listening that have done it, lots of people listening that haven't, which is
Mm,
exactly where we want to be with it. But I agree with you. There's something very exposing about walking into a room with no paraphernalia, nothing,
mm,
you,
mm,
three people usually sat at a desk, not always, but usually,
mm.
um, with piles of paper and this and that and a few sides and looks to each other.
Yeah.
It's exposing because you are immediately feeling A, under the microscope, and it's a very alien environment. We wouldn't perform in that environment ordinarily and be at our
No.
best
Mm,
because you feel immediately a little bit self-conscious
mm,
because it's a bright fluorescent light in a room that doesn't
mm.
make you look great, or you've rushed from the tube with three saxophone cases and someone said, oh, take them all in and set them up in there. I mean, I've had classic auditions where you're like, take your cases in, and I've got my alto and clarinet and this and that, and the panel are like, and I'm like, oh, God, in the room.
Mm.
I mean, and then like, right, ready, play. It's not natural. It's not an environment where you're ready to perform.
Well, and you
There's
don't know
all
what
of
they
that
want. Often
process.
you go in
Yeah.
and you've prepared all this stuff and you bring 20 instruments on your back on the tube, and they don't want any of it.
No. Or
And
they
they
go, actually, we'll only hear one.
hear, yeah.
And I
Or
go, oh, great, thanks.
or the worst thing that I hated when they go, we're going to do dance first. And I was like, bye, bye. Won't get through then. Don't want to do it.
So it may be down the line something we'd discuss a bit later on, just in terms of time, that would be great to talk about is auditions, just full stop,
Yeah.
maybe.
But I
For
think
anyone
social
who's
media
interested.
side is that it is still an audition. It's a constant audition. And we
Mm.
never had to do that. And it's very difficult because you have to be really careful what you put out there now. And
Yeah.
it was I had big reticence about doing this podcast because I was like, and I'm quite an honest person. And I thought, oh, I'm going to just say stuff and it's going to bite me in the ass. I've seen it in theatre, people getting cancelled left, right, centre. And I think maybe that's another reason why I haven't posted as much, just because it's there.
Well, but then the feedback has been both honest and positive. So it can
Yes.
only be a great thing. And I
And
think, having your voice heard, like you said, we put a disclaimer at the start of this episode saying we don't think we're right. We're just
mm.
discussing stuff. And it's interesting to expand your brain and get yourself thinking about stuff a little bit more deeply.
But you do know that that is not going to be a thing. Like if we get more followers and more people listen, there will be 100% will be negative,
Yeah, sure.
sometimes unreasonable, sometimes aggressive
Yeah,
comments.
sure.
Everyone gets them, and that's a real difficult thing to handle. And I think people think when you're in theatre that you're great with bad
Yeah.
feedback equally to good feedback. No, you can have 100 good reviews, you get one bad review, and it eats
And
at
you
you
look
for
at
the rest of your life. And I think that's my worry with social media. The harmful side of it is
yeah.
you understand that Karen from Aberdeen's comment on whatever you've posted that is negative probably has absolutely no meaning. They might not even be a real person. Like, we just don't know.
Yeah.
But it still hurts. Of course it does. And even if you know it's not true, even if you know it's not founded, it still hurts
Yeah, it
if you're
does.
an if you're an empathetic person. And I think that's really harmful, is that we are subjected to that.
We are, but I do think that rather than hide away and not have a voice, I'd rather be in this forum of being safe with you and um, speaking up rather than saying nothing. Because I think we there's more good to be done in the world through connection with other people, even if it's on this platform, than there is saying nothing and keeping quiet. I think
Absolutely.
there's a lot of people that want authentic, and we are very unfiltered. And I will say that we've had, on that note, we've had some really nice things to consider from last week's very long and rambly, but also interesting podcast. And we'll come back to that. We'll back to those comments at a later date
Mm,
on another podcast. But our aim is to kind of make sure that the content is interesting and not too long, but also have the ability to come back to things later on that may be linked together, which we haven't done before,
mm.
to give more meat on the bone rather than do it all in one episode.
Yeah.
And I will say that we mentioned Dan last week.
Yeah.
We were like, Dan's going to be on the pod, and he absolutely is. But because he's, I think, away or touring the world, I'm not sure where he is, but he's certainly living his best life this week. He may be with us next time.
Hmm.
Um, and that will bring us back to the conversation that has sparked some feedback for us to discuss with him. So it
Hmm.
may be that I'm keeping names out of it. It may be that the feedback we've had, which was a thing to think about, we
Hmm.
can put to Dan as a
Yeah.
point of view, because it was about HR and that kind of thing that we had some comments back. But I think
Yeah.
we're probably at a point where we need to summarize.
So what's your favorite out of sort of Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, all of those things?
Oh my God.
What is your go-to?
It's a really great question actually, because I've had to be quite,
Thanks.
but I know it's
Came from my brain.
brain. Because I've had to be quite present, as you know, to try and like keep relevant and
Oh
keep
God, you're on my
working and all that.
feed like, oh, flick through, flick through.
So, funnily enough, I've gone down the line of using mainly Instagram
Hmm.
because of several reasons, really. Not only the sort of different formats that you can do depending on the content. I think there's something about Instagram now that when it's used in the right way, can be quite a snapshot of joy, versus X, which I find quite a negative platform. There's an awful lot of
Hmm.
hatred that goes on X.
Hmm.
I've actually I stopped posting for ages, I realised, until I posted the other day on X, and hadn't missed it one bit. Not
Don't
one
use it.
bit. I
No.
thought I would. My partner is always on X, scrolling through all these feeds, and
Mm,
there's a lot of bad news, negative, negative, negative. Because what tends to happen is he'll say, have you seen this in the news? A bad thing. Have you
mhm,
seen that that's happened? Tragedy. Have you seen da da da? And it's all through X feed that he
mm,
keeps like updating, which a lot of people do. And I get that but I think for me, I made a conscious or unconscious sort of uncoupling from it because I felt it was feeling negative. So I've only just posted a little bit. Instagram's probably the thing that makes me feel more wholesome than anything at all. And that makes us very old because there's lots of platforms out there. I find myself on TikTok finding content that's of
mhm,
meaning, that's quite nice. So whether it be a sort of quick burst of something that takes me to a podcast or a this or a that or the other, I find TikTok good for watching and kind of gleaning bits of information. But I'm not, if I do post on it, it's very, very separate, silly, and joyful. I might dance stupid way or you know, if I post on TikTok, it's nothing to do with my career. So Instagram's my main platform,
Okay.
I would say. What about
An
you?
Insta girl. Nana likes Facebook because
I didn't even bring that up. I
it's
mean, it's
it's
so.
what Nana's used to. Nana's trying to use Instagram, but Nana still goes and I've tried to Google the difference between real stories and whatever the other one
It's
is,
a minefield.
and I still don't get it. So I go, Nana don't like it. Nana, go back to Facebook.
Yeah.
Easy
I,
peasy Facebook.
yeah.
I don't like X because I mean, it took me, this is the truth, years to eat a Snickers after they changed the name from Marathon. It took me years to eat Starbucks after they changed the name from Opal Fruit because I don't like it. I don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like that Twitter changed to X. Don't like it. It's Twitter.
No, I
I
don't like
don't
that
even
either.
like
I think
calling it
that's
X.
no.
Like, and that's on me, obviously. Like, just don't like change. So it put me off. Um, Also my ex was on it more, and I just shied away from it. I didn't I didn't get the content. I think Facebook for me is really easy, and
Yeah, I do
you
like it.
can
It's quite
post long or
wholesome.
short, and I like
Yeah.
reels
Yeah,
and
it's
all that
quite.
kind of, and I understand there's reels on Instagram, and that's kind of mainly what it is. But I also do like, because I sleep with earplugs in, so I find Instagram difficult because I like stuff with captions or reading stuff.
Oh
So I put
yeah,
my
fair enough.
earplugs in, and then I'll have a little flick before bed, and I will like to read stuff. So when
Yeah,
somebody puts a long
I get
post, I'm like,
that.
yeah, 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 I'll read that. Take the time.
Yeah. And also just incidentally on that point with people accessing stuff for us. Obviously we are on Spotify. Please like, subscribe, share.
Advert. This is an
Ah,
advert. Please like
advert.
and subscribe.
And also YouTube particularly. We've been having some great views, but YouTube eventually, if we get enough views, we'll be able to start captioning.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, we don't have enough hours in the day to self caption. Just let me tell you that.
No,
Because
no,
I looked at it one episode and went, no,
no.
I
Well,
am not going to type that whole episode out. So if there's anyone out there that can tell me a really good hack to do that for this and Spotify, please let me know
well,
because
I tried to edit our long, boring podcast into like little shorts,
mm,
and it just loads of people recommended stuff, and I tried using like the free versions because I can't afford to buy everything because
yeah,
everything is bought now. And it just didn't work, and it wasn't.
no,
So if anyone's got lovely recommendations for that, that'd be good. That isn't,
yeah,
buying CapCut or buying
yeah,
all of
yeah,
this stuff.
because I think we could use a bit of help with that. I think.
I think we could
Um,
use a bit of help with
not the
everything.
content, but it's also time management, isn't it? You
Life.
know. Um, well, let's end with something funny. So, what made you laugh this week?
Oh, I don't know. Um, no, you go
Um,
first because you've obviously planned this and I haven't, and
no,
you've got something in your little
I've
brain.
actually gone right. What made you laugh this week? And then thought, oh God, what did make me laugh? Um, are we struggling?
Non-specific, but my kids, like, I just find them hilariously funny. Like, just they are hilarious little beings, and trying to figure out what they're saying, trying to figure out what they're talking about half the time and how their minds work. Just constantly, they make me laugh. They're joy. But I
I
don't know
mean
what
that.
made me laugh. What made me laugh?
No,
That's
but
really
that.
sad, isn't it? That's sad. Nothing made me laugh. I'm
But that
really
is.
grumpy.
But there you go. We talk about right. This brings us back nicely.
Laughter is the
Sunbeam of
wanker
the
of your,
soul.
yeah.
Right? We're gonna have one next time. But it's quite important, and the reason I brought it up is because I think we probably you don't need to look for it; it'll just happen. But I think if in your conscious mind you're like, right, actually, if you're a bit more relaxed about things, you might find yourself laughing more at the little stuff.
I
Your
don't think
kids are
it's
great.
I don't think it's that I haven't laughed enough. And I think maybe I've laughed more than I've cried this week, and I've been happier more than I've been sad. I think it's a bit like the positive negative reviews. They stick in, the negative sticks in your head because
I
you
know.
it's
I
visceral, like you
realise.
really feel it more
Yeah.
than happiness. I think unless it's pee your pants joy, which doesn't happen often, I
No.
think sadness is so overwhelming, all encompassing. You remember that. It stays with you for a very long time. So
Yeah.
I'm sure if I really had time, I could remember the laughter moments. But it's tough to remember. You wanted to end on a positive note. It's tough to remember the
No,
good
it is.
times through the cloud of misery that pushes through on a day-to-day basis.
Well, it definitely does stick with, that's a human condition, isn't it? That your bad news and the negatives always stick harder than the positives. But
Mm.
there are many things this week, amongst some things that I'm kind of a bit anxious about, obviously this week, that stick in my mind. And actually, you make me laugh a lot, just generally, voice notes and everything else that you send.
Or you
So that's
saying
one thing.
Spenny, it made me
I
laugh
mean, that
because
made you laugh.
you're so cool.
No. And my sister, my little sister, what an angel she is, who who was given all of the right stuff in her body to be
Mm,
just the most amazing human being ever,
mm.
and
Did she get all the good genes?
who I look up to, even though she's younger.
Yes.
Makes me laugh as well. She cheers me up no end because she's just so joy. She's joy, right?
I think some of us try to be sensible and we act sensible, and some of us, it's like you're born with the sensible gene, and there is a big difference.
Yeah, she was
I'm
born
always
with it.
acting things, you know. If I let myself go and I didn't have responsibility and I won the lottery, I'd just be a fool 24/7
I'd
because
be with you though. I'd be like, take me with you. Excuse me, can
all of
I
the
join?
sensible stuff I'm
But that's
acting.
what I would be the one
Actually,
going, please pick me, take me with you.
but you're not. No, no, Lindsay. You need to
What?
be trained more for the silly. You can be silly, but you don't drink
Oh,
and you will promise the earth, and then you'll be like, no, no, I've had one sip and I must be sensible with my, whereas I'll be really stupid and I shouldn't. You need to do more things you shouldn't. You're very good at self-control. You get reach that
yeah, I
point and
know.
then you're like, maybe I shouldn't.
I'm very aware that I
I
do have an incredible
When we
self-control
went to
button.
France, I was expecting us to get arrested. And we went
Right.
to that cocktail bar, and then obviously you got bad news, which was
Oh
kind of
God,
hilarious within our life, isn't it? That's of course that was
that
going
was
to
so
happen. Of
bad.
course, we went all the way to France for a joyous trip. We
Oh,
were
it
having a
was
lovely
so
time.
bad.
We went for our kind of one night, our big night out where we were going to have
Yeah.
cocktails and we were going to be all sort of
And it was so
bohemian.
nice.
It
And
was
it
so
started off,
cool, and I felt
God.
like absolutely fucking amazing. And then, of course, like
I
of
mean, it was the
course,
worst news. It was
it
without
was
going
just
into it. It was just
absolute poo, wasn't it?
it was the worst news you can hear
And I
in
kind of laugh
life.
at us because that's kind of, we shouldn't plan things. That's why this podcast works, because we don't plan anything, because it wouldn't work if we did. But I think we
But
need more let ourselves free,
yeah.
do really silly things.
Well, what I do think, because we'll probably go on holiday at some point again this year, is we've got to do our diaries out there. Wherever we go,
Yeah.
we have to do the diary, which we can then share on the podcast in episodes.
Do you know what I was thinking the other day? Like, I really want to get a group of people together, women predominantly, to do the brave things that scare us, you know?
Yeah.
Which people think is ridiculous, but even like not wearing makeup to certain places feels really brave. Taking the kids to school, going to the gym, whatever. But in situations, it feels ridiculous. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't get like the Pamela Anderson-ness of like you still wear a beautiful dress and your
I
hair's
know.
done,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
have not a stitch
Agree.
of makeup on. Still feels really alien. I'd love to do more of those things and like put myself out there a bit more raw.
Do you know
Be
what I
be
saw?
happier with my body that I hate, that I loathe, that I would do anything to trade. We're all in that silly space that I know it's unrealistic, but you are, aren't you?
I think there is something in the facing what you think is like
Mm,
your worst fear. I read this thing that this guy had started, and it's very wholesome, to do with empty seats in pubs. And there's a community that started to join it, whereby if you have suffer from loneliness,
mm,
he started this empty chair club, which is all over the place in various cities, where there'll be a table that's reserved. So if you're lonely and you want to just have a bit of company, you can turn up to this pub,
mm,
and there'll be a table of like-minded people that just want to sit and chat, like we're
mm,
doing,
mm.
safely, and then off you go. You don't have to make friends for life, but you can have a forum to talk. I thought that was
I
such a
think
nice
all
thing. I
those new
thought, and
groups are
that's quite a
brilliant.
scary thing to go and do that, and you don't know a soul.
And also to have, what if you're a person that doesn't want to talk, but that wants to be near people?
Yeah.
There are those people as well who don't want connection in
Yeah.
in the physical and verbal sense. They want to be
Want to
near
just be
people.
around.
They just want to be around, to have clubs like that
Yeah.
where you don't talk. There's
Yeah.
a beautiful club for dogs where it's dogs who are socially anxious, and it's absolutely fucking hilarious to watch because it's all these kind of like autistic dogs that go to a park and have that thing of like they're just not sure how to do certain things, and just watching them, and but they're still so happy, like they do all do it their way.
Yeah,
And I think all of
exactly.
these things are great that they're coming out. And I'd love to start one. I'd love to, in the future, have more time to sort of do good because I feel I do
Yeah.
little pockets, but it never feels enough. I really would love to one day have that's the positive thing. Let's end on a positive. Positive
Yeah.
thing about social media is more than ever, it allows a nobody,
Yeah.
essentially, uneducated, not a pot to piss in, can still reach a
Yeah.
status where they can influence the world. That's amazing because it doesn't put all the importance on being born to money or having a great job or having
I agree.
intelligence necessarily, because not always the most intelligent people are the best people to
Yeah.
have like life skills. So I love that about social media, that it gives people a platform to do good. And watching all of those things where, this guy comes up and says, can you lend me $1? And it's somebody who doesn't have anything and they lend him $1, and then he helps them and he gets a GoFundMe
Yeah.
and he gets
Yeah.
them a house. Like all of those things are on my feed constantly. I love that joy of social media, and how I hope it happens for us one day, that it isn't about money.
No,
It's about status and being able to help the people that you'd love to help.
that's exactly it.
Like
And on
Steve,
that lovely note,
on that lovely note.
I think we should say thank you to the listeners. I think we should say thank you for
Thank you.
changes and input and all of that stuff. And keep
More input.
following along, keep listening. Hopefully, we've got our first guest next time.
Give us
Um,
anything you want. You can give us challenges. You can give
yeah,
us things to do in our week.
yeah.
You can, think outside the box.
Sorry, I just looked at the happiness box and it gave me some joy just looking at
God,
it.
bye.
um, I uh, love seeing you, mate. You always make my
Me
day.
too. I'm gonna go and do some work now. I gotta go.
Oh, shall I show you my glasses too?
Uh,
Are we
uh,
sharing?
I'm gonna go and do some
Okay.
work with my. I have lots to do.
Anyway, that's the end of the news as we
That's the
know
end of
it.
the news. Thank you
Um,
and good night.
thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, TTFN.